Hi, Dr. Tom Hansen here at the Playbook Academy in Tampa, Florida. I just hung up with a coach. We were talking about what I consider the three levels of sports psychology. And I look at it as like the college or high school and college level, then there's a minor league level, and then there's the big league level. At the high schoolish college level, I would say that the mental game is all about platitudes or phrases like, hey, go out there and play one pitch at a time. Hey, relax, slow it down. Or you got to play with confidence. Get out there and play with confidence. And those are great things to say, and there's lots more of them. But they leave you lacking a little bit because they don't get into how. That's where the next level, say a minor league level, gets into actual content of how you do that. Because if you say, hey, go out and play one pitch at a time to a player, he ought to say, okay, and how do we do that? Because if you say, hey, go out there and throw a slider, you don't really do that. You show them how to throw a slider. And any other skill that you want, you typically a physical skill, you teach them how to do it. But very often in the mental game, we just kind of say what you want and don't really break it down to actually how to do that. So at the minor league level, we talk about a lot of the tactics of what to do, such as the deep breath, such as visualizing, setting goals, having a routine that you use on every pitch. Those are great things. I teach them every single day. So those are very important elements of having a good mental game. But they are not the big leagues. The big leagues of the mental game is where you start to deal with what the way the brain is really structured. And the brain is structured where we have a cortex, we have or what we could, well, let's just call it our conscious mind, where you're deliberately thinking. And that's what you're doing with the routine. Oh, I'm going to deliberately think this. I'm going to breathe here. I'm going to visualize this. I'm going to say this to myself and go. Again, very, very powerful. But I mean, we're really looking at about 10% of our brain, of our functionality, is really run by those conscious choices that we're talking about. The big leagues, as you might expect, deals with the other 90%. It deals with the programming that you have of what's going on that's giving rise to the fear that you need those the minor league level skills, those tactics to deal with. So those are like what I'm calling the minor league level is about teaching the tactics to deal with what comes up. And the big leagues is about changing what is bringing stuff up. So it's about changing the programming and going in to do that. And so you might say, well, I don't need that because I don't have a problem. It's not like I have the yips. I don't have a problem. But this isn't about problems. This is about gaps. Do you have a gap? Is there a gap between where you are and where you want to be? If so, your mental programming has way more to do with it than anything else that's going on, or any other element of. So you shorten your hand path, that's great. But even then, you'll start if you ever start to like hit really well, but you might have an inner programming that has you be afraid of the success. Oh, I'm hitting 375. But if I hit 375 for the year, then they'll expect it. Or it's outside of your identity to hit 375. How would you know? Well, I've got an assessment that can tell you, not specifically that, but can tell you about your mental game and what's really going on under there, the Hanson Play Big Baseball profile. I can tell you what's going on at the big league level in your brain. And then in my one-on-one program, it's almost not almost all I do, but almost like the typical stuff that gets taught in a mental game, like visualization, breathing, and the routines and goal setting. Um, again, I can almost sometimes forget to teach them because I'm so focused on the mothership, on the programming and changing that. So I mean, you look at a Derek Jeter, he does a lot of those tactical things, I would say, quite naturally because of his programming. And so that's where the real money is. And that's where I work with people one on one. In my one on one work, that's really where we're going. So if that's of interest to you, I do have a couple spots at the moment that I could take on new people. Just shoot me an email back and let me know. But again, I just want you to get this distinction between platitudes of like, hey, go out and play one pitch at a time. And if you're a coach, think, oh, I should teach them how to do that. And if you're a player, say, coach, how do I do that? And then, yes, get those tactics, but then take a look at, well, how can I upgrade my programming? Like, I just upgraded the operating system on this computer, went from a Vista to a Windows 8. And it's a big shift. And now I can feel it on the way the computer performs. And that's what I'm talking about. A shift you can feel in terms of how the game occurs to you. How fast is it happening? That my computer is faster, and that's great. But as you upgrade your own mental software, the game slows down. So there you go. I just wanted to pass that on. I enjoyed that conversation, and I enjoy sharing that distinction with people so that you really have a better sense of what's going on from a mental game standpoint. So get out there and play big.